over to the property, I will want them to bring a water bottle. We will have water in a 5-gallon water jug. They'll be able to fill their water if they need to, but they need to have their own bottles. Also, your children need to wear tennis shoes, okay? Appropriate footwear, because we're going to be in the grass, we're going to be running. Don't want anybody messing up their toes or their feet during that time. So we'll, also with me is Gary Flint. He will be the other directing person. If you have any problems with the activities or anything, come to either Gary or me, and we will take care of that problem for you. We're going to have a great time with your children, but also respect our time. Have your kids there on time so they can enjoy all the activity, and then also pick up your kids at the end of that time so we are able to get back over here, eat, and also with our families. So please do that. Some of the people we have, Becky and Zach Gwynn. Okay, they're not here yet, but they will be there on time. So, oh, they're outside. They're right out. I thought I saw him earlier. Anyway.
I blasted by Becky Gwynn this morning.
So I'm just going to run through the names, and if you'll just stand up, and then you all can clap at the end, because there are so many people helping me. It's just awesome that they have given their time to help your kids. So we have, like I said, Becky and Zach Gwynn, Cole White, Ben White, Connor Hayes, Gabriel Carmona. They will be working with the Catan A group. So all those stand if you're here, and we can clap. We'll clap for each group. And I thank you for honoring them, because they are giving their time, and I really appreciate you boys and men and women helping. Sorry, I've known them for so long. They're all kids to me, so anyway. And then for Catan B, we have Benjamin and Jonathan and Jeremy Troyer, and hold on, one more, and Sierra Sarlo. Are they here? Hey, look at that. Like your hat. And then for the Gadol team, we have Joshua Alex Neal. We have Ben and Amy Callender. We have Philip Mason. We have Brian Bain. And we have Esther Goutet. So, what else do I want to talk about? Okay, so the rabbi is going to give you the property. You have signed, we will have medical. We will have, well, like I said, a water station over there for you. If we have please, like I said, we'll have the drop-off station, so I need you to see the drop-off, make sure your child is checked in and your child is checked out before you leave. Make sure they're checked in. Make sure you come and pick them up, and make sure they're checked out. I don't want you just picking your kid up and knowing it's your kid and leaving and me not knowing, because I need to know where everybody is at all times. I think that's about, oh, go ahead. Can they bring? Oh, yeah. So, it's only an hour and a half, but you know how kids are, and running and playing in 2.5 hours. If you can bring a snack, for your kid, they can have their snack. We have picnic tables. They will have break times. We will have a lot of fun. We got a lot of games over there, 9 square, gaga ball, a bunch of stuff you guys will enjoy. So bring your kids and have a good time. Thank you.
You know when then they'll just walk over to the barn from there?
That's correct. I will have 3 teams picking up each kid and taking them to their activities.
All right.
You know what I mean? So Catan A, they'll drop them off. They'll have a sign there.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I'll take care of that. All right. So for the children going over to the activity, and for all those of you that are all curious about the property, okay, I'm going to give the address out here. But the caveat that you only go there at the appropriate time to drop off your children. Anybody else wants to see the property, you will make arrangements to go during one of our property tours that are scheduled starting on Monday. We have them at the end of lunch, right? So lunch, we blocked out 3 hours. The last hour is for property tours, okay? And for those, we'll need to give you announcements of how we're going to work those. I haven't really figured out how we're going to work that, so we're in terms of just showing up at the property, how we're going to do that. But please do not go to the property unescorted. Okay, when you get there and you go up the drive, first of all, it's a one-lane drive, so you're going to have to be aware that other people might be coming the other way. Second of all, that when we get most of the way down the drive to where it opens up into the property, there is another property and house that shares that driveway on the right there, and we just want to not be just sending people randomly over there, unescorted, not knowing where the boundaries are and those kind of things. Hopefully, everybody can respect that. Again, we're looking for respectful submission here. If you want to see the property, we want you to see it too. Okay, so we have property tours scheduled 3 or 4 or 5 times during the week. I say we have it on Monday, on Tuesday, and on Thursday, and on Friday. Okay, so you'll have plenty of opportunity to go see the property. The property's address is 723 Kyle, that's with a K-I-L-E, Kyle Lake Road. Okay, K-I-L-E Lake Road. It's only about 2 miles from here. Okay? If you're going from here, you're going to go basically straight down this road that's right by the fire department. And it's going to eventually hit Kyle Lake Road. You make a left and you follow it all the way around. That's how simple it is. What's this street called? New Hope or something? What's this one called? Anyway, the street that's just to the right of the fire department across the street, that corner where the fire department is. If you take that street down, it'll wrap around and eventually you'll see Kyle Lake split off to the left, and then you follow that. Now, there will be a big purple sign, like the big MTOI signs you see out here on the road. There will be one on the property entrance. So you'll make a right onto a gravel road right there. You'll go over a couple of little bridges we have a little creek that goes through there. You go over those. They're very solid. Don't worry about that. And then when you come out where it opens up, there's a big house on the left and there's a house on the right. The house on the left is the one that's part of the property. It has a circular drive. Go ahead and go through the circle and drop off your children there. Okay? As you come on, if you look straight ahead past the house, you'll see a couple of big red barns. That's where the play field is. So they'll walk to the playing field. It's part of the exercise that they'll get, okay? But this way you can drop them off by the house. All right? What? Go ahead. Just tell me you want.
Yeah, quick note of safety. On the drive over there, it's beautiful. It's a nice country drive. However, the road is very narrow. There's farmer implements that may be present, and there are some 90-degree turns. So if you're not, we still do it. We go over there on a regular basis, and we still get up on these things, and you will end up in somebody's front yard. So maintain the speed limit or below until you get familiar with the area. Also, the drive in onto the property is a gravel driveway. The slower you go on it, the better it is for the driveway. If you're cruising on it at 15 or 20 miles an hour, just, it doesn't feel like you're going that fast, but you can damage the amount of traffic will erode the roadbed and cause a severe wear that they don't get washed out later.
Okay. So again, when he was talking about 90-degree turns, that's on the road leading to the property, okay? A lot of the side streets in the neighborhoods in this area, they're basically fairly narrow. They could be, barely get one car each way. And also because of all the rain and the way the property's set up, you have basically a lot of times on some of the roads you'll see there'll be nice ditches on the side there to run the water. So you do not want to go off the road, okay, because you really end up in a ditch. Don't be worried about it. It's not a big deal. I don't think you have too much of it actually the way you go to this property, okay? But it's, just realize that, again, we're trying to be respectful as we are there. We have 135 acres. We've cleared away a bunch of stuff. So for the children, also, we want to remind you, you may want to put sunscreen on them. It's going to be, fairly warm in some of the afternoons for them to be running around, and also bug spray if you want that. If you're a city person and have no idea what a tick is, I'm not trying to scare you, but we're out in the country. So it's a tiny little bug, all right? Likes to attach to skin, nothing to be afraid of. People get them all the time. just check your children when they come home and just look for, any of those kind of things, because that can happen. And don't be panicking and afraid of it. You can always see our medical team. It's not a big deal, okay? But if you live in a brick and mortar, jungle where there is no trees and grass or anything else, then you may not know what I'm talking about because they don't have those, okay? And so just be aware of that. We do have a nice field that's cleared for them. Like I said, we put a goggle ball thing. We just bought a brand new, huge 26-foot goggle ball arena for them to play in. We've got a 9-square set up for them. It's going to be fantastic. Children, you're going to have the best time. It's going to be great, all right? Okay. One other thing, and then we're going to bring Rabbi Tom up to share his teaching, because after all, we're only an hour late. No problem. Actually, we're just on time. It's 11 o'clock. Actually, it all worked out. You went quicker than I thought, so it worked out beautifully. All right. We have a playground just to the side of the building over here. It's really not designed for your children. It's designed for something the school uses, our MTOI Academy uses for the little ones to have a little playtime. I don't mind your little ones using it, but little ones means 4 and under. I don't want to see anybody 5 or older in there. They will break the stuff that's in there. It's not made for children that old, okay? So please be very respectful of that tiny little playground that we have. It's really not meant for today. It's not meant for this event. It's meant for the MTOI Academy. The Academy has told us that you can use it for the little ones if you want to have some place for them just to burn off a little bit of energy, but that means 4 and under. Okay, let's not bring anybody bigger than that in there, please. And don't do like some of you do when you take your 13-year-old to the 11 and under buffet and say they're 11, okay? I don't care what you do at the buffet to get a free buffet. Don't bring your 5 and 6-year-old because they're small and think they can, please, if I said 4 and under and you know they're over 4, do not bring them in there. Okay, we're going to learn to respectfully follow directions. Thank you. All right, so we're going to take a few seconds here to bring Rabbi Tom up. And he's going to share a teaching on the Lulav and the Etrog, which is something that's mentioned. He'll talk about all the details about Sukkot with the 4 species. What was that? We'll decorate afterwards. Okay, then after he finishes, we're going to go outside. Those of you who brought decorations to hang, and we'll do that. Did we make arrangements for anybody to be able to get up high enough to do that? No. All right. Talk to the Shamish. First of all, I want everybody to recognize that Rabbi Tom walked up the stairs and over to his chair.
Next year, maybe, I'll be willing, I'll run.
Listen, I get to watch a phenomenon to me, which is since you've been here, you've only gotten healthier, which is fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, all thanks to
Amen.
Abba.
Okay, wait a second. So Marty will tell us when the stream is going. I'm going to turn my mic off. We're going? Okay. And so we're going to turn this over now to Rabbi Tom, who's going to teach us about the Lulav and the Etrog.
Okay, Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, and Hag Sukkot Sameach. Sukkot Sameach. All right. Well, first of all, we're here to learn some Torah. The Torah is the basis of our faith. And part of the Mishnah is the Pirkei Avot, and the rabbis say put a fence around the Torah, so that's why we have a big fence. All right, that was supposed to be a joke. Okay. But anyhow, we do have a fence around the Torah. And it's not to necessarily keep people out, keep evildoers out, but to prevent us from straying away from the Torah. Now, what we're going to be doing this morning is talking about something called the Lulav. The Lulav and the Etrog. Now, what we're going to do first is discuss the mechanics of it, the concrete part. And then we're going to get into the abstract part. The mechanic part, some of you, I'm sure most of you have heard this before, but you'll have to endure it again if you've been here before. We're commanded in Vayikra, or Leviticus 23, to take the branches of goodly trees and also the fruit of goodly trees. And 3 specific branches are mentioned: the palm, the hadass, or the myrtle, and the willow. And Leviticus 23 doesn't really tell us what we're to do with these except to rejoice. And it leaves the rest kind of open, and that's where tradition comes in. Don't be afraid of the word tradition. Rabbi Steve says tradition is fine as long as it doesn't trump Torah or circumvent Torah. And the tradition that we will be following this morning is something that is in harmony with Torah. It complements Torah. It helps us understand Torah. So it's a good tradition. And the rabbis tell us what to do with, our brother Judah tells us what to do with those 3 branches. So what we do with them, at first we assemble them. And the palm goes in the center. And then the hadass, or the myrtle, goes, and this is the myrtle, goes on the right. And the willow the aravot will go on the left. And then we combine that with the etrog, the fruit of goodly trees. And the mechanics of it is that we hold the lulav branches in our right hand, the etrog in our left, and we wave them to 6 directions while we're underneath the sukkah. First we face east, and you guys are facing east. I think I'm facing west. And so you'd have to face this way. And we wave it forward 3 times to the east. Of course, I'm waving to the west. We shake it a little bit, see? And then we go over our right shoulder to the south 3 times. And then over the left shoulder to the north 3 times. Then over the back of our shoulder to the west. Of course, actually here I'm going east. Then we wave it up 3 times and down 3 times. And along with that, before we wave it, we say some blessings. Now, out on the table here, there will be other lulavim out there, and there'll be some blessing cards laminated. On the first day, and on the first day only, we say a blessing called the Shehikianu. And I'll just read there's the Hebrew and the Hebrew transliteration, but I'll just read the English. It'll say, "Blessed are you, Yahweh or Elohim, King of the universe, who has kept us alive and sustained us and brought us to this season or this special time." And the Shehikianu is a blessing that can be said during the opening of Pesach and Hag HaMatzot and Shavuot, or any special occasion. But that's said only on the first day. Along with that, and then on subsequent days, we say the 4 species blessing, which is simply put, "Blessed are you, Yahweh or Elohim, King of the universe, who sanctifies us with his commandments and commanded us regarding the waving of the lulav." And that's the blessings. That's the mechanics. Now we'll get in to the more abstract part. We're here not just to learn Torah, but to learn to internalize Torah. That's very important. 1 week ago on the Shabbat, Rabbi Steve's teaching, in his opening remarks, he mentioned the heart. And he said that the heart is also interpreted as the mind. We're going to see that. That's part of internalizing the Torah. That's what we're here to do. But first, we're going to go through some of these branches here. Now, you notice that the myrtle has tiny little leaves, okay? And it kind of represents the eyes. So if we turn to Tehillim or Psalm 103, Psalm 103 and verse 13. Do I have the right verse? No, I don't have the right verse. I must have written down the wrong verse. Like that advertisement says, when the guy spills sauce all over himself, he says, "Oh, I hate when that happens." Okay. Well, let's try another one. (119) verse 18. Open my eyes that I might see wonders from your Torah. We have to have our eyes open to see wonders from Yahweh's Torah. And if we turn to Matthew, that's Matthew chapter 6. And we go to verse 22. It says, the lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, that'd be the Ein Tov, if your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. So we have to watch what we look at, what our eye beholds. And now, the willow represents the lips, our lips. And the lips are very important. Let's go back to the book of Tehillim, Psalms. And we'll go to Tehillim 141 and verse 3. O Yahweh, set a guard for my mouth and watch over the door of my lips. So this should be part of our prayer, that Almighty Abba Yahweh will help us guard and remind us to guard our mouth, guard the words that come forth. Yaakov or James asked a question, can blessing and cursing come out of the same mouth? The answer is obvious, no it can't, but sometimes it does, doesn't it? Sometimes we get angry, we get frustrated, and we say things that we shouldn't. Now, of course, I never do. If you ask my kids and my grandkids, they'll say, "Oh, now wait a minute, Grandpa." Yeah. So yeah, we all do. We all do. But this is why we do tshuva, repentance. We have to guard our lips, and our lips and our teeth form a double wall over our tongue. So that's related. But the important thing that we're going to get to is the Etrog. The Etrog is sort of in the shape of the human heart. The heart is not one of those things that we see in little stickers or something. It's not shaped like that. It's shaped pretty much like an Etrog. I think the medical people can verify that. And as Rabbi Steve says, the heart And the mind in Hebrew thinking, the Hebrew mindset are connected. They're inseparable. And we'll see why in a minute. The heart, of course, physically is just an organ that pumps blood. It sends the blood and oxygen coursing through our veins and our arteries and so on. But in Hebrew thought, it's the seat of thought for the mind. It is part of the mind. And let's turn to 2 Corinthians, if you will, please. 2 Corinthians, we're going to chapter 10. And verse 5. Overthrowing reasonings and every high matter that exalts itself against the knowledge of Elohim, taking captive every thought to make it obedient to the Messiah. Now, we all know what a brain is. Every living creature has some sort of a brain. Every animal life has a brain. But what separates us from the lower animal lives is something called the mind. Has anyone ever seen a mind? No. The mind is something abstract, something ethereal. No one has ever seen a mind. No one has ever seen thoughts. Now, in Yaakov, and you don't have to turn there, Yaakov or James, chapter 1, verse 8, he warns against being double-minded, thinking two different ways. Part of the time in harmony with Torah, part of the time out of harmony with Torah. And then we have to ask a question. What is in our minds? What is foremost in our minds? When we say the Shema, when we get to the V'ahavta part, we are told that we're to love Almighty Yahweh with all of our heart, with all of our being, and with all of our might. Right? That's something that's not concrete, that's something that's abstract. What do we think of when we think of love? Well, a young boy and girl are together, it's, we're in love. But love is wanting something that you think of day and night. And this is why the Shema is said at least twice a day. Day and night. Let's go over to the book of Romans. Romans chapter 8. I'll get there in a minute. Romans chapter 8 and verse 7. Because the mind of the flesh is enmity toward Elohim, for it does not subject itself to the Torah of Elohim, neither is it able. So we have to discipline our mind. Now, when Rabbi Steve mentioned heart, which is symbolized by the Etrog, it got me to thinking. In Hebrew, heart is lev, it's spelled lamet vet. And vet is the letter B without the dot, without the dagesh in it. Lamed vet. And in the ancient pictograph Hebrew, the lamed is simply a crook like this, and it represents a shepherd's staff, authority, and guidance. And the vet represents a house or a tent or a sukkah. And so the idea is that if we come under the authority of a shepherd and we're inside the sukkah, inside the tabernacle, inside the tent, first of all, when we're inside, we're in unity, or we should be in unity. And we're under the authority and guidance of a shepherd. It's not just a helter-skelter, let's get together and all sing kumbaya thing. We have to have order and discipline. So let's think of the Hebrew letters, lamed and vet, as the authority of a shepherd and being in the protection of a sukkah. The sukkah doesn't look like it offers much protection. We're not talking about physical protection from the rain and the wind and the snow and everything. We're talking about Almighty Yahweh's protection. And of course, the shepherd not only has authority, but he has a responsibility to lead and to protect. And the idea, again, of being inside the sukkah or inside this makeshift tabernacle here is one of unity. And the idea of the heart is, again, to internalize the Torah. Internalize the Torah. What do we mean by internalizing? There's a difference between being Torah pursuant and covenanted. I think we should all know that. So love, again, is not an emotion. But it's to keep our minds and our thoughts working for Him. So when we go out to shake the Lulav, let's have kavanah, intent. Our intention should be to concentrate on what we're doing and to concentrate on the meaning of these symbols and what it means to us, and ask ourselves, what am I doing to internalize the Torah, the entire Tanakh and the Brit? Am I studying every day? Am I taking the things that I've learned and acting upon them, meditating upon them? Now, later on this week, we're going to be going through the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy. Devarim in Hebrew means words. We're going to be going through the book of words, all 34 chapters. And we'll read so many, and then we'll be making comments on it. And we're asking questions about it. And we'll hear what everyone has to say. And then we'll hear what Rabbi has to say. And we'll learn. Devarim is a summary of the first 4 books of the Torah. It's a recap. It's all the information rolled into one, if you will. That's very important. So when we say these blessings, let's not just read them as we're reading a book or something, or reading some kind of a newspaper, but let's say them from our heart. When we say, blessed are you, Yahweh or Elohim, let's say that as a prayer to Almighty Yahweh. Prayer is just simply speaking to Yahweh. King of the universe, who's kept us alive and sustained us. I don't know how many in here have had a near-death experience. Well, I've had a few of them. I'm sure others have too, where your life hung in the balance. Okay? And yet, for some reason, Yahweh spared you at that time. That's why we're here. Or you know someone whom Yahweh has spared. And then it finishes, and brought us to this special time. This is a very special time One of the things connected with the commemoration of Sukkot is rain. It says in Zechariah 14 that if Egypt will not go up to Sukkot, to the Feast of Tabernacles, there'll be no rain. Now, that doesn't mean the nation of Egypt. I don't interpret it that way. It means those who have an Egyptian mindset. What did the Israelites say when they left Egypt after they found themselves wandering around in Bamidbar in the wilderness? Oh, I wish we were back in Egypt. We had nice houses. We didn't have to live in tents. We had food. We had leeks and melons and garlic and fish. We got stimulus checks. We had prime rib. The government took care of us. Here, we got to take care of ourselves. It's a horrible thought. Well, if you want to rely on the government to take care of you, go back to Egypt. But if you want to stand on your own 2 feet, if the palm, by the way, represents the spine. I forgot to mention that. You've heard the phrase, he has or she has no spine. They're spineless. They're weak people. They're not, as Rabbi Steve would say, they're not up to the challenge. They back down from challenges. But if you're up to the challenge, if you have spine, you stand on your own 2 feet. That's why we're here. Some of us have left our jobs. The first time I ever went to Sukkot, which was, I think, 1972, I had the best job I ever had in my life, and my employer says, I know you have time coming off, but this is a busy season. If you take off this time to go, you're fired. So I took off the time, I went, and I was fired. But Yahweh didn't fire me, simply because I feared Yahweh more than I feared my employer. That's why I went. And I think many of us here are in that same boat. We've got to fear Almighty Yahweh and not some man who says, oh, you're going to lose your job. Because you know what? After I got back, Yahweh gave me an even better job, better conditions. Amen. And he'll do that for you. So I'd like us, I know I've said a lot here, but I'd like us to keep all that was said in our minds and our hearts when we go out to follow the tradition of shaking the lulav. Now, there's a lot of us here. I think there are only 3, maybe 4 lulavim out there. So we can't all go out immediately. You can shake it any time during the day. We shake it every day until next Friday. Next Friday is the last day of Sukkot. The following day is Shemini Atzaret. We don't shake the lulav on Shemini Atzaret, only during Sukkot. Shemini Atzaret, the assembly of the 8th day, is a separate feast. I'm sure we all understand that. If you didn't, you understand it now. So anyhow, we should do this every day. What if you don't do it every day? Well, don't worry. You're not going to go for a short swim in the lake of fire. You'll be all right. All right. But it's a tradition that keeps us in a Hebrew mindset. And this is very important. This is part of internalizing the Torah, to develop a Hebrew mindset. Somebody called up last week and wanted to attend the part of Sukkot. They wanted to be here just for a couple of days. And they said, there's nothing in our state. Well, I happen to know of a congregation that was in their state that I had attended years ago. And I said, well, you know, there's this congregation. And they said, yeah, we've been there, but they're too Jewish. Whew. Well, don't come here. We have Hebrew liturgy. We will have Hebrew liturgy here. And we do quote unquote Jewish thing. I don't like to think of it necessarily as Jewish, but more Hebrew. The Jews, they don't realize the Jews are just one tribe of Israel. And they did the same exact thing as the other 11 tribes. And the other 11 tribes did the same thing as our brother Judah. So, again, when we go out to shake the Lulav, I hope we keep all these things in mind. I'm not going to take any questions now, but we'll break from the teaching and we'll go out and we'll wave the Lulav to the 6 directions and follow this wonderful and beautiful tradition. And if there's anyone here that doesn't get to do it at this time before lunch, we have probably about 20 minutes before lunch. You can do it after lunch. There'll be time before the afternoon's teaching, or you can do it right after the afternoon's teaching. So with that, thank you for your attention, and may Yahweh bless us all and draw us closer to Him. Rabbi Steve, thank you.
Amen. Amen. Excellent job, as always, Rabbi Tom. We thank you. We appreciate that. Well, my mic got too close to his mic.
That's all right. Harmonize. That was a shofar.
All right, I'm going to come back over this way. Make Rick have to move his camera. All right. Did you all enjoy that? Was it great? All right, where's my wife? Where's Robertson? Well, they need to be back over here so they can she's going to direct this. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go outside. Rabbi Tom is giving you some instruction and guidance about the Lulav. He'll be out there. We'll get him situated out there to help give instruction. We'll do that first, and then we'll decorate the sukkah. Okay. We'll see you guys in the next broadcast.
Yeah, thank you. We got to take this. We're going to shut this off.